In this video, I'm going to show how to set up and run an Arinc bus card. It's a 429 bus into a PXI system that is running Veristand as the real-time execution engine. Okay? So the first thing that we need to do is to solve a custom device in Veristand. And a custom device is basically a piece of software that adds extra functionality into Veristand. So the custom device for the 429 card, this instance from Ballard, it's in GitHub. So you can download the code and you can see what it's doing. You can recompile it, etc. My suggestion is go after one of the released versions. Okay, and once you have that, basically you already have done it, and you'll have this software, and then the NI packet manager will take care of the whole dependencies and everything that you need to get the software started. I already have done it, so I'm going to say no. The next thing that we're going to need is the IP address of our real-time system. So this is my PXI. I have two remote systems, only one is connected. As you can see, I have different instruments. The controller has a GPIB port, which I'm not going to use. It has an FPGA card and it has a CAN card that has two buses over there. Okay, and then it has a serial interface, and this is where I have the two cores of my 429 card. So everything looks good. I see everything on my measurement and automation explorer. The thing that I'm going to need is my IP address. Okay, so basically I'm going to need this number later. Another thing I have to mention, this is a fairly old controller, so it's still running FATLAB. For newer controllers, they are going to be running NI Linux real time, and the process is exactly the same. Okay? So I'm going to open Veristand, and I'm going to launch a new project. So 429 video demonstration, take 2. I'm going to create it, and while Veristand creates the framework, the thing that I'm going to do first is I'm going to set up the System Explorer, and the System Explorer is the part of the Veristand platform where I tell what resources are available. Basically, what hardware resources, what software resources, like custom devices, like models, etc. So I'm going to click here, and it's going to launch the System Explorer. I have, as I mentioned, or you have seen before, I have different hardware cards. For the sake of simplicity, I'm not going to add those resources right now, but it could be, it is very straightforward. So the thing that I'm going to do first is I'm going to set up my controller. As we have seen before, it's going to be running FATLAB, and then I'm going to see if this works. Yeah, that's my IP address. I have different options. We can change maybe the target rate. I'm just going to leave it by default, but just keep in mind that this is going to run at 100 Hz. Actually, let's make it interesting. Let's make it at 1 kilohertz. Okay. Now, since 429 or any Arinc buses is not a native feature of Veristand, that's why we have to install the custom device. So I'm going to click custom devices, right click, and this is the custom device that I installed from my GitHub page. So I'm going to install that. I'm going to select the card number. It's card number 0. And I have to load a hardware configuration and a parameter configuration. So actually, the example in GitHub has a database. So I'm going to load that. So I have Bitmap. Okay. I'm going to create the timestamp channels. And then also I'm going to load the parameters configuration. So parameters. A quick note is that the shipping examples, these well, the shipping configurations didn't work with my card. I'm going to be using just one code. So basically, this is the XML file that we were talking before. And I basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a loopback test. So in the example, if you download it, you'll see that it's going to write on the channel 28, I think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change that to number 17. And then I'm going to read on channel 8. Okay, and this is where I set up the different IDs and labels, etc. Okay, but just so this changing the channel will allow me to do a loopback test even though I don't have any cable. So basically I'm just writing and reading from the same physical channel. So that being said, I'm going to save. Okay. Now I have my custom devices here. Just I'm going to show that on the custom devices I have some labels here, and then on my outputs, channel 17, I have some words here. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a quick user interface. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put a numeric control, and I'm going to link that to my label. So I'm going to use the altitude. It's done. And now just to check the loopback test, I'm going to add another, and I'm going to read that on my inputs, channel 0, on my timestamp. Oops, sorry, my altitude. Okay. Just to show that this is working, I'm going to add another indicator, and I'm going to connect this to the time stamp that my card is carrying. Also, I like to have, maybe let's do something a little bit different. Let me add a gauge here, and I'm going to change, I'm going to link this to one of the system channels in Veristand, and I'm going to actually show the loop rate. Okay? And actually, I expect this to be 1,000. So basically, I'm going to say the maximum is going to be 2,000. So that when it's running and everything is correct, it will be right on the middle. Okay. So this is it. I'm going to download it, deploy. And right now, Veristand is taking all the information from the system configuration and it's deploying that into the real-time engine that it's running on the PXI controller. Okay, so on my machine, on my computer, I have my user interface, and yeah, this is running now. So basically, you can see my timestamp is increasing. My loop rate is 1 kilohertz. If I now add value to this altitude, let's say 50, I see how the messages are going, how I've been updated. Let's say 200. Okay. And the numbers do not match. It's because the way the words are defined. So if I just move this slowly, you'll see it doesn't change until it reaches. See, I have one value, and then it was, and that's because of the resolution that I have in this level. So that's it. That's basically a very short and simple video on how we can set up a 429 interface in Veristand. Thank you.